Bibliophiles and Jane Austen lovers, and welcome back to Blatantly Bookish. I'm Marissa, and today I would like to chat about Jane Austen and the genre of chick lit. Did Jane Austen invent chick lit? If she wrote her works today, would they be considered chick lit? This video is heavily inspired by Mel from Mel's Bookland Adventures' video titled, Is Elizabeth Gaskell Chick Lit?, which is absolutely amazing, and I will link it down below so you can check it out if you are not already familiar with it. But this video is also inspired by my reading of Helen Fielding's Bridget Jones's Diary, which I read this month. Bridget Jones's Diary is a loose Pride and Prejudice retelling, which is also considered to be one of the first, and perhaps the most iconic, chick lit reads. Discussing it with Katie got me thinking about the connections between Jane Austen's work and the genre of chick lit. So, obviously, the answers to the questions posed in the beginning of this video hinge both on your definition of the genre of chick lit and your overall impressions of Austen's works. Chick lit is often thought of as a derogatory term used to describe books that are fluffy and full of irrational desires, uncontrollable passions, and poorly developed characters. It's typically thought of as just for women, lowbrow, and escapist literature. Does that sound much like Austen to you? To me, while Jane Austen's literature can be escapist, her characters are exquisite portrayals of all facets of humanity, and her books have some serious substance to them, tackling all manner of social conventions, money, morality, and so much more. Other definitions of chick lit include that it consists of heroine-centered narratives that focus on the trials and tribulations of their individual protagonists, or that it focuses on the personal growth of a woman or small groups of women. In essence, this definition basically classifies chick lit as a Bildungsroman novel of sorts, or a coming-of-age story exclusively for women. Think along the lines of Jane Eyre or Great Expectations if Pip were a female. This definition does hold some weight with Austen's works, as almost all of her heroines do progress and change and come to realizations throughout the course of their respective novels. The genre of chick lit also usually addresses issues of modern womanhood, from romantic relationships to female friendships to matters in the workplace, in humorous and lighthearted ways. This definition seems to coincide well with Austen's work for me, except, of course, modern womanhood for her time period, and Austen's world didn't involve a workplace per se for the female gentry. I think that for some, there's this perception that Jane Austen's novels are all about romance and the struggles of a single woman, that they all end in marriage, and that that's the entire story. There's nothing wrong with focusing on the elements of romance in Austen's works and swooning over Mr. Darcy, but if you think that that's all there is to her novels, you're sorely mistaken. Austen engages in a constant probing and examination of humanity. Austen and her characters typically display a keen, self-reflective capacity, sifting and discerning the value of their feelings. Austen's characters are constantly disrupted by the authorial voice, the perspectives of other characters, and social convention and morality in a way that challenges them to critique topics far larger than themselves. So, can we call Austen chick lit? Or the inventor of chick lit? Sure, I suppose you can if you want to. Her work can easily be considered heroine-centered narratives that focus on the trials and tribulations of women, and that's what chick lit is, after all, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that. So yes, we can call Austen chick lit, but should we? I personally think not. I think that by associating Austen with chick lit, we are doing her work a grave disservice. I asked my boyfriend to define chick lit, and he said that it is books for women. How many men do you know that read anything that is popularly considered chick lit, or that has a cover that looks like any of these popular chick lit books? So then why do we package Jane Austen's work to look so much like them? I have this box set of pastel-colored books. This one has hearts on it, floral patterns and hearts, Sense and Sensibility. I actually quite like this design, but it's very flowery. Look at Persuasion. And Emma's full of flowers. Frankly, the majority of men I try to talk to about Jane Austen make a negative face, say that her books are too girly and romantic, or some variation of that, and then say that they have no interest in reading them. And that, to me, is a big issue. It's not like her works have nothing to share with men. And I know that there are many men who do enjoy Austen, as they've been commenting on my Jane Austen videos this July. I think Jane Austen is a great literary genius that everyone should be encouraged to read. I think that by packaging her work as any genre besides classics or great literature, we are simply limiting her readership. So I would love to know anything you might think about what I've said in this video. Should we consider Austen the inventor of chick lit? Do you think that the readership of Jane Austen is gendered in any way? I'm just really curious to hear your thoughts on this topic, and I look forward to seeing you in another video soon. Bye!
Lovedarscy. This is the story of a girl, and it begins like any other. Since she was